Hello and welcome to PlaySport for the Women's British Basketball League clash between the Caledonia Gladiators and the Essex Rebels. Winter is upon us, and with the hustle and bustle of Christmas already creeping in, now is the time to cheer louder for your team as we step into a busy month of basketball. The Gladiators come in tonight's fixture after an intensely competitive FIBA Euro Cup win midweek over Benfica. They play in domestic action for the first time in 29 days. The travelling Rebels head north off the back of two brilliant victories in league action, with wins over Oakland's and Nottingham having suffered defeat to the London Lions in week 1. Miguel Ortega's Gladiators head into this fixture yet to suffer defeat in any competitive fixture. So we're going to run through the team lines. We're just waiting on the away team to be announced. So the away team roster are Daniela Turner, Ashley Munns, Chantel Aiton, Jaden Bam, Tanula Okenrinkoya, Tia Freeman, Cameron Taylor Willis, Rennie Bush, Catherine Tudor, Megan Haynes and Darcy K. Reese, and they're captained by Claire Paxton. Their coach is Ashley Cookston. As we wait on the announcement of the home team as the light show begins here at PlaySport. As the Caledonia Gladiators come to the floor, their lineup for tonight is number 4 Robin Lewis, number 5 Samantha Roscoe, number 9 Hannah Robb, number 10 Kian Omer Jones, number 11 Ariadna Puyol, number 12 Evenia Putra, number 14 and the captain Eddie McCarrican, number 15 Bintu Lu, 22 Chantel Handy, 25 Kirsty Brown. And on the roster for the first time tonight is Alex McIntosh. A big shout out to the junior making her roster debut. And then number 50, Geneva Ndiaye. So tonight I'm joined by Rona Lightbody, and courtside we're going to have Annie Lawrence. My name is Grant, and yeah, we're in for a treat with two really good teams in form. And Rona, what should we expect for this matchup?
I think both teams, it's been a bit of a hiatus for the Gladiators, in domestic action, so it's great to see them back at home and back playing off that excellent European win that I know we'll talk about further on in the lineup. But with Essex have had some injury problems. We've yet to see Whiteside strip up for them. Fun fact that she was actually on the Washington Mystics roster a couple of seasons back. Thanks Coach Donnie McDonald for that fact. But she's got some calibre of player there. Essex have got a really nice squad. You saw Hoops Fix Women put out the stat this week about Ashley Munns and Renee Bush combining for the most made 3-pointers in the league, so I'm expecting to see some bombs today.
Yeah, and when we look at the home team, the Gladiators coming off, obviously, as we said, the win midweek, it'll be interesting to see how the team bounce back, or not bounce back next out, but take that momentum.
It definitely, and it's something they've not actually done as a team yet. They've not actually had to fly back and then play again, and that's another skill set. Some of these younger players that maybe don't have that same experience, or maybe even players who have been playing domestically for quite some time. They'll have played internationals, but a lot of the time, until you get to Eurobasket level, if it's European seeds, which is where Scotland did used to compete, you go to one place and you play your games there for your 1 week or 2 weeks, so you've not got that usual having to travel so far. So I think this is a good test for the team. The team are in safe hands with both coaches Miguel and Donnie, and obviously Chantel there at the helm, so they'll have them well prepped, and I think that's when we'll maybe start to see the depth of this roster.
Yeah, and I suppose go back to the Essex Rebels. They come into this on a current 2-1 record with wins over Nottingham and Oaklands. With that, as I said, that defeat to the London Lions. Gladiators come in having not played last weekend on the back of 2 blowout wins. First one here against Durham, and then on the road to Newcastle.
And what are you looking forward to in today's game, Grant?
I'm just excited to see 2 good teams go at it. Essex have really kind of rebounded from that kind of opening day defeat to the London Lions. It's obviously going to be hard playing against them. That you can see by young Megan Haynes there, who just scored on the layup. She's earned her first GB call up to the full national team. Gio's going to be playing a lot of confidence, and she's someone I'm really excited to see from the visiting team, from the home team. It's always the thing, you just don't know how Coach Ortega is going to play his rotations. I'm excited to see how Putra does tonight. She was brilliant the last 2 games, and she's someone that I think we should probably look out for in competition against Kaylee Rees on the other side. Darcy Rees, sorry, on the other end. So the teams are just finishing the warm-up. We were about 3.5 minutes until tip.
Looks like the drum corps section got the memo.
Yeah, they're always strong, been here every game so far. My next thing is wondering how many like drumsticks they go through every game. Some must go flying.
That's a bit like how many boards does a coach go through. You always know things aren't going so well if a board gets broken.
Absolutely. So the starting 5s are in for the away team. We have got Claire Paxton, Rennie Bush, Kat Tudor and Megan Haynes and Darcy Rees. Starting for Essex Rebels. And for the home team, the Caledonia Gladiators, starting with Robin Lewis, Erin McCarrigan, Hannah Robb, Kirsty Brown and Bintu Low at the 5. So we're in for a compelling matchup, both teams playing with a lot of confidence. It's one of these things, Ron, I'm always curious just to see how teams start. We saw the last game here for the girls against Durham. They got on that really hot start, which kind of pushed the game away. I'm just curious to see how Essex looks to start against a much taller Gladiators team.
Indeed. Essex will come out and they'll look to play their own game. You know, Gladiators took both wins against them last season in the league. They'll be looking to rectify that. Claire Paxton, you know, it's not her home court as such, but being a Scottish girl, she's well known to Hannah, Erin, Robin, Coach Donny. You know, she's a very key piece of their team, and that'll be something they'll be looking to try and keep that threat nullified. And
from a Gladiators point of view, what do you think Miguel and Donny will be looking for the girls, especially right off the kind of tip?
I think they'll be looking to build on what was going well for them. We saw them race out and have quite a comprehensive lead against Benfica, and then Benfica were sort of allowed to just chip back away. We were discussing, you know, before we came on, that you never quite know what Coach Ortega's going to do. You don't know what he's going to do with starting 5s, you don't know how he's going to take people. I know when I'm sitting in WhatsApp group chats watching these European games and things, we're like, what? Like, you can't quite grasp his rotations and what he's doing, but that's all part of it. That's why he's a high-flying level coach, and that's why I've got my level 1. You know, and that's what separates us people apart. So I'm always just really curious to see what he's going to do. He gets the best out of his players. You know, you can tell the players trust in him as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting what they're going to do, but they're going to be looking to play that high pressure, fast basketball. We saw quite a bit of zone put up against them, but we saw, you know, Chantel Handy she comes off and she does Chantel Handy things, doesn't she? 5 from 7 at one point from 3-point range, you know, and I would say she has had a very quiet start in both seasons, whether in European competition or domestic, as in she's not having to put in big minutes like she was last season because it's such a good roster here, but she can still come off the bench. And you know, if that's someone who's been 9th, 10th in your rotation coming out and knocking down, I think it was around about 15 points the other night, that's awesome. And you can't ask for more than that, can you?
Yeah, so the teams are just, the starting 5s, as you said, are just coming onto the floor. The referees are wearing a bold orange number today. Would you say that's orange, or what colour are you giving that?
I feel like Halloween was a few weeks ago, Grant, and they've not got the memo.
So our referees are Chris Doggs, Ian McDonald and Rosinski as the 3 completing the 3 referees. As the Gladiators have a starting 5 had a huddle on the court, and we're seconds away from this one getting underway. As the hometown fans take to their feet. It's certainly cold outside, but it's roasting in here tonight, Rona.
It is. It's almost tropical, you might say.
That's maybe why the referees have got this bright canary orange on. So the home team Gladiators in the blue, and the Essex Rebels will be wearing red. Ian McDonald already trying to hurry them up.
Still only paid for 2 hours parking. Needs to get back out. Although parking is free, I'd like to point that out to him.
Yeah, he thinks the meter's running, it's really not. So we're seconds away from the tip-off. Looks like it's going to be Reese versus Bintu Low for the tip. Chris Dodd's throwing the ball up, and this one's almost underway. Ref's just checking everything's all good. Table's ready to go. We're ready to go. Chris Dodds is almost ready to go. And Essex win the tip, and Claire Paxton has the ball. And it's into the hands of Renee Bush. Heavily guarded by Hannah Robb. Spins out of the way, drives down lane, kicks it out. Claire Paxton from 3, nails the 3. And it has to be the Scottish player that scores first for Essex.
Indeed, and that's something Claire Paxton can do. You know, she is that taller foreman, someone that played in Donny's 3x3, so we know she can shoot that long range shot. Got to watch on that help how deep you come.
So Gladiators moving the ball around. Kirsty Brown for the mid-range misses, goes for the rebound, but again Claire Paxton's on it. Oh, she crosses half court, passes the ball into Haynes. Haynes, as we said, made her GB debut in the last window alongside a couple of the Gladiators, one being Erin McCarrigan, who blocks it and then steals it and turns over. She's looking for the foul and it's not going, so Essex ball, and the score is 3-0 in Essex favour.
I think that's one of those ones, if she'd managed to continue, it's not necessarily a call, but you know, from with my referee specs on the fact it went out of court, maybe it should have been.
Are you a level 1 there as well?
I am a level 1 there as well. There's a very keen
So Kat Tudor pulls up, misses, rebound by Bintu. It's into the hands of Robin Lewis. Just over a minute ago, Bintu looks for the 3, passes it off to Kirsty Brown, who looks for Robin Lewis, comes round the screen. And she takes the 3-ball shot, misses it, and Claire Paxton again with the rebound. She's pushing up the floor now with Kirsty Brown on her shoulder. Goes all her own, and almost an and one. She'll go to the line shooting 2. Claire Paxton started this game really well.
She has indeed. She's come out and she knows what she's going to do. I was literally just about to say Kirsty Brown playing really nice defence, you know, keeping her hands up, allowing her to go along, you know, the side, not giving her the space, but then she's managed to come in. Tough call.
Coach Ortega's obviously not happy with the start the team has made. We're not even 90 seconds in, and he's called a timeout. He's not going to be happy with that. He's 3-0 down the scoreboard. Claire Paxton going to the 3-throw line for 2. He's clearly not happy about something.
No, on the offensive end, you know, they've had 2 nice looks. They've not dropped. That's fine. You can't score every single basket you put up. You know, that's going to happen. But I do think in defence they look a little bit sluggish, and they maybe just need to shake that off. It doesn't look like he's going to make any changes. He's probably going to allow these players to play through this sort of little spell here to get the confidence back up. But I can imagine he's not over there saying, this has been good, I'm just giving you a wee rest. Absolutely
not. And it was, as you said, it was too easy for Claire Paxton to gather the ball from the rebound and just basically go the length of the court. So, and the fans have taken a seat for during the timeout, but they'll be back on their feet as the Gladiators are yet to score. What do you think Coach Cookson will be saying though?
I think he'll be pleased with how his team started, and just to pick up on what you said about Claire, you know, full respect for her game and how she plays, but she is not somebody who should be able to bring the ball up the full length of the court, especially under pressure, especially with the rest of the team back. So that is definitely something Gladiators, you know, they're going to have to put it politely, get their fingers into gear.
Yeah, absolutely. So Claire passes at the line and shooting 2. The first one. Second one's up and makes it. The Essex Rebels lead 5 points to none. Robin Lewis carries the ball over half court. guarded by Megan Haynes. Gladiators trying to call a play. Not a lot of movement in the offense at the moment. Bintu takes a 3. Doesn't reach in, it's into Reese's hands and quickly into Haynes as he looked to push the tempo.
We do indeed, and I think, Bintu, we don't often see her shoot that shot, but if she's going to sit that far off her, she's got to be an attacking threat or it's pointless.
Foul called as Kat Tudor drives into the key, and it's an inline ball.
Gladiators just looking a little bit late to every single thing. It's sort of, they're being reactive as opposed to, using their initiative and getting there.
And this could be where the turnover, only getting back in from Thursday's game late on. Bintu goes for the steal and she tips it off Reese's hands. Gladiators ball, and this could be where this team begins to learn. They've obviously got a quick turnaround from being in Portugal midweek. Only got back Friday, obviously, so quick turnaround, whereas Essex have had a bit of a longer gap between the games.
They have indeed. It's always that scenario, isn't it? Is it better that you keep playing, or is it better to have the rests?
It's amazing the amount of space Bintu does have at the top of the key there. Hannah Robb almost turns it over, but gathered. It's late now into the shot clock. Robin Lewis shoots another 3, well off, and it is. The refs are calling a shot clock violation.
Essex playing very well in the defence. That's third outside shot the Gladiators have been forced to put up alongside an outside the key shot as well, so you can see they're clogging up that key. They're not allowing them to put the ball in and get those easy scores.
And it must be difficult for Bintu. She's getting a lot of space. That's obviously something Essex have worked with, not letting the Gladiators establish an inside force. As Tudor drives in, she dishes out to Rennie Bush, who drives past Hannah Robb, who kicks it back out. Miss on the 3. Gathered as the Gladiators push down the court.
Did we miss the memo that it's 5's turn to bring the ball up the court today? Seems to be all the
It must
bigs.
be. It's another turnover from the Gladiators. Hannah Robb dropping off her foot from Renee Bush into Megan Haynes, who drives inside. Offensive foul called.
Really nice work by Robin Lewis. She let her feet do the work. She got over there, she got her hands up, she took that charge. Really nice.
Yeah, it was almost one of those ones where as well Haynes was maybe that little bit out of control, driving too quickly, that she created that contact.
You could see she'd committed to it, Haynes, so once she was in that flow, Robin's outside the charge circle, textbook.
Again, Bintu given loads of space on the 2, called a 2 by the ref, foot on the line, and that is Gladiators off.
Ortega, I think, was actually quite annoyed that she's left that toe on the line, because he was pointing at the line and he was pointing at her foot, so I don't think he was saying, oh, well done, you had your foot on the line when you scored that. So it's those little details.
Of course, Gladiators off the 0 onto 2. Claire Patterson in the corner, looked like she was going to go to 3 but didn't. Drives into traffic, rebounds by Kirsty Brown.
Lovely help there by Hannah Robb. She just came across, caused even more problems for Claire Paxton, forced her to miss the shot.
Kirsty Brown at the top of the arc, looking for this help. As they look to establish Bintu inside, she turns on Reese, who turns, uses her foot speed, misses. Great defence by Reese, who gathers her own rebound.
Kirsty Brown can shoot that shot, and you can see Essex. You actually saw Claire take another step off Kirsty when she caught the ball, so they're obviously looking.
Bush driving inside. Great defence from McCarrican, out to Paxton again, who's driving inside, into traffic again. Good help defence, but gathered by Essex, and the foul called. Essex are playing with a really good tempo.
They are indeed, and Gladiators did everything right there in that defence, and even off the offensive rebound. What they should have done though was they should just have stood. Easier said than done. As somebody who can never put my feet on the floor because I always want to block someone and usually miss. It's tempting, but in that situation you just stay because that was going to be a tough pull.
Essex Rebels at line for 2. Foul, I think, went on Kirsty Brown, so that's her second foul. Miguel Ortega keeping Kirsty in the game. And it drops 7 points to 2 here. The Rebels have really come out fighting.
And that's something, we've not really seen Gladiators have to come from behind yet, so it'll be interesting to see how they play through this and how they look to use their lineup.
And that's clearly the game plan from Rebels. They're giving Bintu the outside shot. McCarrican catches a pass from Robin, who's then somehow KB's got the rebound. Kirsty Brown with the 2. Great work inside. That
was. You could see though that herself and McCarrican, they cut to the same spot. Or else I think that would have been an even easier score, but they got the score and that's what matters.
Haynes drives inside. It's a great right hand layup.
Yeah, really nice, tough finish there.
Into again, she's considering this shot a lot. She's driving now inside, goes for the move on Reese, fakes it in, looks for the foul, and it's bumped, and it is. Foul called. Bintu going to line for 2.
I really like how she got Darcy Reese up off her feet there. I think, yeah, it was the foul was called on her. She got her up off her feet, then she's come up and underneath her. That's really good, smart play. Darcy Reese has planted herself in there, and that's what Bintu's going to have to do, is take it to her. Just because someone's standing there doesn't mean you can't find your way around them.
And that's going to be it's going to be an interesting game. See how Bintu does tonight. A different kind of game where she's getting the ball at the top of the arc and having that possibility of taking the shot. We don't see her take a lot of outside shots to then maybe potentially drive in and create the contact. First one drops. And off of the second one, rebound by Tudor. Into the hands of Freeman. Checks into the game. Spins on Hannah Robb, dishes out to Renee Bush. Misses it, but the rebounds got last contact by Erin McCarrigan.
Just really good to take a little bit better care of the boards, find their player, box them out. I think there's a little bit of miscommunication there. You can see as Hannah dove out to put her hand up on the 3.
Yeah, and Renee Bush averaged, I think, 45% from 3 last season. She's deadly from outside, so as she goes, she's not going to miss many of them left open. As Kirsty Brown gathers the rebound, Robin Lewis really looking to push the tempo. We see Coach Ortega already looking to run some subs. Kirsty Brown at the top of the arc for 3. That's off, and rebound by Freeman. Essex kind of sagging off the Gladiators quite a lot. They're giving them those 3-ball shots.
They are, and with Omar Jones coming in, we know she's got a really nice 3 shot, and I wonder if that's maybe what he's going to look to do there. He's going to play her maybe roughly in at that sort of position, and if they start getting them
Bush
to drop.
kicks it out. Haynes in the corner for 3, overcooks it. Rebound for Reese. She's frees up from Freeman, and the rebound by the smallest player in the court. Robin Lewis pushes down the floor, going all the way in. Slows down, checks back out, looks to set up the offense into Kirsty Brown. Goes left hand, and again the shot's just not dropping for Gladiators. That's another good look.
It is, and as long as you're getting good looks, coaches tend to be happy because they will drop as the game goes on. It's when you're not getting looks and you're being forced into the 3.
Oh, Tudor overcooks that. Rebound by Reese, but misses it.
Reese has a problem on the boards.
Hannah Robb going all the way on her own, left hand finish. Brilliant coast to coast as timeout is called by the Essex Rebels. What coaches obviously called that quite quickly off that kind of fast break by Hannah Robb. Why would you think he's done that at 9 points? He's still 2 points up, 9-7.
I think, it's just how the game's sort of flowing. Gladiators seems to be in a bit of a run now. You can see they're bringing Pujol, Omar Jones and Njai, I think, are all going to come on the floor. That's going to bring another level of intensity. Pujol's arm length as well. That's going to cause other problems for them. And the way she can get to the hoop and the way Njai gets to the hoop as well, it's just really nice. So I think, Essex are just going to have a quick regroup. They're still up by 2. There's no panic. There's nothing. They've slowed down their scoring, and they're just going to want to look. Paxton's come off. She had 5 of their opening points. You don't want somebody to come off and then your team to not be able to score. It's got to be, that's where as that game progresses and people get tired and foul trouble sort of kicks in. That's where you need to be able to look down your bench and have, plenty of people coming off to replace. And
we've obviously highlighted Reese. She's on the boards both ends of the floor. What can the Gladiators do to kind of maybe nullify her for it?
You've got to box her out. At the end of the day, like you just said, smallest player in the court, Robin came up with the boards. Yes, she wasn't in a battle with Reese on the boards. But interestingly, Robin is actually, she's right up there. She's in the top 5 for rebounds for the Gladiators. So it just proves the point that I always make, that rebounding comes down to hustle most of the time.
And Miguel Ortega rotates out 5 and brings in 5. So Omar Jones enters the field. If Ndaye, Ariadna Puyol, Evenia Putra and Samantha Roscoe take to the floor.
Now we all know Sammy Roscoe can shoot that 3, so that's going to give Essex a different look at that.
And it looks like Turner's checked in for the Essex Rebels as well, as we have a bit of full court press on from the Gladiators. And Haynes has the ball. We're interested to see the foot speed between Ndaye and Haynes now.
It will indeed, and that's what you love to see in these games, isn't it? You love seeing what's going to come out of these matchups.
Oh, Haynes drives all the way in, beautiful. She went round her back, lost her defender, and the key just opened up. Butcher gathers the ball at the top of the arc again. They're not coming out to her. Ariadne to Ndai. Again, given space to shoot, and she takes it. We saw that 3-ball shot in the other game so far, especially against Benfica here, when she was given that space, she takes that shot.
Indeed, and that's what they're going to need to have, and that's what they're going to do. And if you're going to let them get hot, and you've not even got Chantel on the court yet.
Foul called, blocking foul on Evgenia Putra.
Yeah, just, you know, that sort of that early into their front court, just let her bring the ball up. You know, she's, even if she burns you on foot speed, you know, you should have at least 2 or 3 lines behind you to be able to come across and help.
Yeah, and Evgenia is someone who made her full national team debut for Ukraine in the recent window. She's been brilliant in domestic form, forces the turnover there. Now the ball's in Ariadne Puyol's hand. It's dished out to Ndai. Slight deflection. Putra put the ball on the floor, looking to go to work. Hook shot with a right hand, just overcooks it. Canomer Jones works hard, gathers the offensive rebound. Oh, but overthrows it. And Ndai's not able to gather up. It's going to be a backcourt violation. Essex ball.
Feel for Omer Jones there, because that was really nice hustle. And the way she kept her feet inside, you could see, like, you know, the way she'd lined them up. Just unfortunate she's overcooked it on the pass back out to reset.
Megan Haynes of the inbound. It's 11 points to 10 in the Rebels' favour. They go for the cut, and it's Gladiators' ball. Nice looking move from Essex, obviously something they've worked on, but great defence from, I think it was Ndai.
It was indeed, and that's where you're talking about that foot speed. And she was in the right position and in that line that Coach Ortega looks for.
Catcher checks out. In comes number 6, Jaden Bam, and Claire Paxton's back in for Reese. So a little bit of a smaller lineup here. It'll be interesting to see how Gladiators adapt and what they're going to go for, and how actually Essex will play, because they've gone a lot through Reese on both ends.
Yeah, and even just her securing the boards to give them second opportunities.
So Roscoe gets her feet set, goes for 3, misses, but Ariadne Puyol gathers it. Left hand, misses the and one. Closed, will be going to the line for 2. I was obviously in the back of some of the European games, I was looking at some of the stats, and Ariadne's European performances, she's averaging 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in Eurocup. She's someone that can do it all. With she's 5'11", someone that can just do it all.
Yeah, I want to be like her when I grow up. I say that about most players. I'm like, I just want their skill set. But no, she is, and she's a smart head as well, you know. And I think, you know, when you're looking at the stats before you come into these games, and I'm sometimes a bit surprised, you know, at some of the stats that come up, because what she actually brings to the floor is not necessarily in the stat sheet. And I think that can happen with a lot of players, but I imagine anybody in the league would want them on our roster.
She misses the first 3 throw.
But only if she scores her free throws.
Absolutely. So she's one of the few one of the couple in the roster that have played a lot more in the European roster than domestic, but great offensive rebound by Putra off the missed 3 throw from Puyol. So Turner pushes the game up into Freeman's hand, out to Claire Paxton, and shoots the quick 3-ball and makes it. What a shot by Paxton. 14 points to 12 in the Rebels' favour, having trailed by 1 momentarily.
She'll do that all day long if you let her. You do not want her getting hot. It's like you don't want Munns getting hot, you don't want Bush getting hot. She's
on 8 points personal. She has double her team's points, and there's another turnover from the Gladiators, and Geneva overthrown it past Omer Jones, and Coach Ortega takes a timeout. We've got 1 minute and 40 seconds to go in this quarter, and I think if you look at both teams, the game's really evenly matched. It kind of seems the Gladiators have got a wee bit of the momentum going, having had that poor start.
I would agree with that, and you know, it was quite unusual for them, like we say, to go down, and they are still behind. Essex, you know, they're playing a good game, and I wouldn't say Essex are firing all cylinders. It's not like they're coming out and everything, their hitting's going in, they're getting loads of fouls called. You know, they've got gears to go through as well. I think is it just going to be who's going to start to hit the next gear first, and then be able to push on with it when you are on your run. How far can you extend your run out? Unusual, sorry, I don't know, I don't have the stat for when Ortega usually calls these timeouts, but this is quite unusual for him to have called both and within this first quarter.
Yeah, he's looking at a couple of matchups. He's brought in his second unit. There's been a couple of turnovers from the Gladiators. They're up to 5 in the game. One stat jumping off to me straight away, Rona, is the amount of rebounds Reese already had. She's on 5 rebounds already from 7 minutes.
Yep, and she is a tall player, she is a physical player, but I wouldn't say, she's got loads of extra height on anyone that she's been matched up against, or loads of extra strength. I suppose everyone on the court would like to think they could match her strength-wise, so that's just something they've got to take better care of. You saw in Benfica, they had some taller players, it was quite physical in and around the hoop, and they managed to cope with that, so they've got to come back out and do it in this game as well.
The referee's demanding the players to hurry up. I think Ian McDonald definitely has his car parked somewhere he shouldn't. As Essex inbound the ball, Freeman drives up. Guarded by Samantha Roscoe.
Lovely footwork and lovely hands by her.
Roscoe playing really good intense defence, and the 5-second call. Brilliant defence by Sam Roscoe. She's playing the 4 spot right now, and that's going to be tricky for many teams to compete against.
Yes, and just really nice hustle there. Some people, when they see a smaller player against them, they would maybe take a step off, but she doesn't. She goes up there and she invites that, gets the call.
Daya to Putra. Again, they're giving the 5 space to work. Ariadna posted up out to Daya. Comes round the screen. Again, she drives inside and one. What a brilliant drive in Daya.
So it's just me that watches, and I'm like, how did she just get a whole lane there? Because Essex have been playing good defence, they move, and then she just comes in like it's a wee left-hand layup that she's doing on the warm-up, And but you'll know that's because of what her team are doing, and they'll be moving to pull their players away. And I know there's many different pieces going, but when she does it like that, that's what makes a good player, right? They make it look easy.
The foul's called on Bam. And she makes it, so it's now 15 points to 14. The Gladiators up by 1. We're almost into the final minute of this first quarter. Ball in Bam's hand, almost drops it. Foul's called on Omar Jones.
Yeah, you could just see that little sort of push/bump on Bam as she went past. She'll be annoyed at herself because she's more than capable of moving.
Gladiators and both teams now going to be on team fouls. Jaden Bam at the line. Misses the first one.
I have to say Essex are not short of being used to playing in a noisy environment. I saw that they had another amazing turnout at one of the recent games to take that record, and with a big Doug Wallen who puts on their game day entertainment. I mean, they create some atmosphere down there.
Brilliant to see. I think it was close to 1,500 people were at that game, so it's brilliant to see. And hopefully it's something the Gladiators will be able to replicate. As Puyol drives inside, she looks for help. Omar Jones out by the 3-point line, goes past Haynes. The lane opens up, overcooks it though, and Haynes gathers the ball in, and she looks again to push the tempo, looking for help. Ashley Moon passes it out in the corner. 3 balls missed. Putcher gathers the rebound.
You almost felt though Pujol was so deep on that last offense, why didn't she go up herself? But almost came good.
Ball finds its way into Putra. She's looking for help. Puyol gathers it, looks it, goes left hand, banks it off the backboard, misses it. Rebound gathered in by Puyol, but again it ends up in the Rebels' hands. And she steps out of bounds.
It's a really interesting matchup. We've got one's marching up here on Sammy Roscoe, and you just wonder why, Sammy's not putting herself inside. I'm sure there'll be a reason for that, and taking that mismatch. There's been a wee switch now with Turner Hunter.
We're into the potential, the final possession of the clock. Clock's ticking down, shot needs to go up. Travel called, and that looks like it could be the end of the quarter. The referees are going to come together, see if there's any time left. At most it'd be less than a second.
Game McDonald's like, nah, it's good.
I think the in-house arena staff and the table have decided it's the end of the quarter as they confer, and looks like we're into the quarter. Gladiators up by 1. Rona, a really up and down quarter. Both teams trying to push the tempo. Both teams having scoring run. What would Essex Rebels be looking to improve on?
I think they just need to tighten a few little things up in their offense again. Their shots will start to drop, and just down at the defensive end, making sure they're talking to each other and they're sort of trying to close down and make sure that help defense is there. We've seen a few sort of easy things you can see they're pushing up now on defence as opposed to sitting off. So that's, you know, they've looked at that obviously tactically, they've scouted the team, they know what they're coming up against. I guess that's a benefit to other teams in the WBL with both the Lions and the Gladiators playing in Europe. They can see them playing against different teams, they can see how other teams match up against them and are challenging them. But these are the sort of games I enjoy, because I like to see who steps up in the moment and just, you know, what teams are made of. And you see that in these tight games, you don't see that in 30 or 40 point blowouts.
So on the other end of the court, we saw Miguel Ortega use his 2 timeouts really early on. He's obviously not happy. The team's only leading by 1. What do we expect from the Gladiators heading into this second quarter?
I think we expect them all to take ownership of improving themselves by at least what, you know, like we always talk about the 1%. So, you know, if you make your defence a bit 1% better, your rebounding, everything else, it all adds up. He's kept this same 5, you know, he's obviously looking at playing in blocks of 5. Yeah, you've still got young Alex McIntosh on the bench and Chantel Handy to come into the game. You know, both of them I'm sure will be excellent offensive and defensive threats. Coach Ortega's obviously working on something. He's the puppet master, and you know he'll know what he's doing. But it's going to be down to the players to step up.
So Gladiators start the second quarter, and as Rona said, it looks like both teams have kept the same 5. Dye looks to drive dishes out to Sam Roscoe, moves round. Puts out to Kieran Romer-Jones, given space, thinks about the shot, drives inside, left-hand finish, misses it. Hadn't established herself back in bounds. Essex ball.
I think she was waiting on the contact, or she thought there was going to be somebody coming across to get a tip on it, which is why she's put the ball so high.
Essex struggling to get the ball in, great inbound defence, but the ball finds itself into Turner. Turner making her season debut for the Rebels tonight. Oh, finds Munn, who drops the ball, doesn't bring it with her, and steps out of play. Gladiators ball.
Nice work. She's obviously learned from that mistake last time, where she's bumped the player, so she literally just got herself in position, because the temptation there is just to give them a nudge out of court, and yes, when you get called for foul. And
we've seen the last couple of defensive possessions there, the tempo from the Gladiators in defence stepping out a bit more. We saw it from Roscoe, we've seen it from Kiana Omer-Jones there. Something clearly that Miguel Ortega was looking for.
Yeah, and with the foot speed and the personnel you've got on the floor, there's no reason why they shouldn't be doing that.
Ndai given space. Shoots the 3, misses. Putcher gathers the rebound, misses it, and foul called on Claire Paxton. I think Putcher will be going to the line shooting 2.
Yeah, she rebounded that so hard, I think she rebounded it out of her own teammate's hand. I think Haynes is maybe just taking a bump under there. It's hard to see from the angle we've got here, but
subs. Bush checks in for Turner and Reese checks in for Paxton. As Butcher's at the line shooting 2. Gladiators still up 15 points to 14. Butcher misses the first. But makes the second. Gladiators shooting 50% so far from the free throw. Haynes drives again, and foul called on Ndai.
You know, it's a bit like deja vu there as well with Haynes. You're like, okay, she's collected the ball, she's gone hard to hoop, and that's where you're like, okay, Gladiators are going to have to identify that, and what are they going to do? They're going to bring someone across to be there ready maybe to take the charge. Like Robin had, you know, what are they going to do? Because if not, she'll do that to them all day long. You saw she won the Estonia game, and she absolutely had herself a game, you know, considering it was her first cap. Clearly a talented player.
Yeah, shows a lot of confidence. Likes to pick up the ball, drive inside. Taylor Willis checks into the first for the first time in the game for the Rebels. Another player of a bit of height. As it's now 16 all, 9 minutes to go in the half. Ndai brings it over half court, guarded by Bush, who finds Putra. They're given no space to Sam Roscoe to put up a shot.
No, Taylor Willis really active there with her hands and her feet.
Ndai pulls up for 2, a good range, mid-range 2 there.
She just made made that look easy, like, oh, why is everybody else not just doing that, you know? But it's having the smarts, and we were talking about that before. You learn how to get fast, but you don't necessarily learn how to stop or how to slow down, and that's a great skill.
Renee Bush drives inside, looking for the foul, nothing called. Ball's gathered by the Gladiators. And Daya again looking to get the ball in hand and push the tempo. Out to Putra, given space.
You could see her eyeing up that shot, but you know, there was still 14 in the shot clock. That's the right idea.
Really impressed by the Essex defence so far. Really giving no space other than to the 5. Forcing Roscoe into shot, but Ariadna Puyol grabbing that rebound, looking to re-establish the offence. Dai driving right, pulls up, misses that. Rebounds gathered by herself. Finds Putra, lovely find. Bounce pass into Putra's hand, and the easy layup as Haynes goes to the big heave pass into Tudor's hand.
That was like a bounce pass when you're first learning, like 2 hands.
And the foul's called on the floor.
Gladiators need to cut out these silly fouls. You know, they're not in a scoring position, they're not in a threatening position as such. You know, they've just got to play through that because these fouls will catch up with them.
As we have a sub coming on, Hannah Robbs returning to the floor, Omar Jones taking the seat. Yeah, I think that's the Gladiators' 7th foul of the game so far, and we've only played 13 minutes.
Is that a sign of tiredness, or is that just a sign of Essex up in the tempo and they've not matched that yet?
I think it's also a sign that Gladiators trust that they've got the depth as well, that they can play that wee bit harder. Great find by Bush, but foul by Puyol and Reese under the hoop as she gathers the ball.
Was it a foul? I don't know. I think that was quite an obvious one,
yes,
wasn't it, for everybody to see.
Called on the floor.
You could say beautiful fake by Reese there. You know, Bush had gone up and come down before she'd even left.
Essex looks to get the ball in bounds. Finds its way to Bush. It drives round the screen. Looking to create space. Haynes drives baseline. Misses the layup.
Really unfortunate on that though.
It was a great move to find the baseline, and Dai drives all the way, tries to fit the finish, doesn't get it. Puyol with the offensive rebound, finds her teammate in Putra, who's going to work in Reese. Hook shot misses. And the rebounds together, and that's a few of those type of shots. I think all our bigs have missed those kind of shots, hook shots so far.
Putra's coming up against someone who, you know, is a little bit taller than us. You can see she's put more height on it, and you can't alter the shot that much because that's when it's not dropping.
Taylor Willis with the ball, puts it in Haynes' hand, he drives in against the bigger Putra, out to Bush in the corner. 3-ball misses from Bush. We're not seeing many 3-balls drop other than Claire Paxton so far. As Puyol drives, fakes the pass, throws it up, is heavily fouled under the basket, and she'll go to the free-throw line again.
Yeah, you can see she committed to that, and she did well getting the ball away as well.
And that's Megan Haynes' 2nd personal foul. Gladiators make a change as Bintu Low returns to the floor for Putra. And that's it. Putra's had a brilliant start to the season, playing against Newcastle and Durham, who did not have a player of the size of Reese or some of the players that they're going up against in FIBA Euro Cup.
Yeah, and you can see that with the 19 and a half. That always cracks me up. The 19 and a half points, you know, she's averaging at the moment for someone young. She's, you know, somebody they've brought in to develop, and she's really put in big minutes for them. And nice to see Pujol get first of the free throws.
Yeah, Nevenya's averaging 19.5 points a game and 9 rebounds. And Puyol makes both free throws. The Gladiators extend their lead to 6, and there's a full court press on as the ball's in Bush's hand and she drives over half court. Looking for the roll, misses it. Great defense by the Gladiators. Hannah Robb pushes the ball, goes to her right. Bintu throws it with the offensive rebound out to Ndai. There must be someone open somewhere. Puyol against the bigger Reese. Drives in, goes for the nice layup, makes it. And we're just seeing that Ariana Puyol stepping up as Essex call a time up. Yeah, this kind of recent runs off the back of some really nice play from Puyol.
Yeah, and you can see that was such a nice hard hedge down there, and Lowe was part of that as well. And just by staying low, not sticking their hands in and staying, keeping their hands wide, that just makes it a nightmare for the offensive players to find someone. Down at this end, that's Pujol's bread and butter, that sort of step through, just really nice footwork, and then getting the finish as well. Because for both teams, finishing isn't a great. I mean, you're looking at 36% for the Gladiators, 20% for the Essex Rebels. It'd be unusual to have a terrible shooting day all day, although it can happen. But like we say, shots will start to drop. And I mean, 12% for the Gladiators from 3-point land, 25% for Rebels. Neither team's going to be recruited for their scouting, for their shooting today. But they're getting those looks and they will start to drop.
Yeah, so that was.
She says hopefully.
Essex coach Cookson called that timeout. We were less than 6 minutes to go in the half. Gladiators lead 24 points to 16 as the teams are about to return to the court. It'll be interesting to see what mix of players the Rebels come out with. You've got Haynes on 2 fouls. They've not really got a lot of offense except from Haynes driving in and from Paxton. He'll be looking, I think the coach Cookson will be looking for players like Renee Bush, Kat Tudor, even Reese to step up offensively.
I feel like you can see a lot of that. There's a lot of picks, there's a lot of on-ball and off-ball picks to give Haynes, that drive and that passage to the hoop. And then you can see that you've got Bush. I would say it's not even a bailout because she's such an efficient 3-point shooter, to give you that other threat.
Gladys again with a full court press. As Rebels cross midcourt, ball in Kat Tudor's hand. She's again looking to drive in. She dishes out Taylor Willis for 3. And the rebound goes to Geneva Ndai, who pushes it out to Puyol out on the left wing. Bintu takes the 3 this time. Rims out and Ndai going for the rebound. And it's an Essex ball.
What I really like there is you've got your 5-man, in Bintu shooting the 3, and then you've got pretty much your 1-man, and then Ndai doing the rebounding, and I'm like, that's what you want, right? You want every player to be able to play every position and do every skill.
And I'm always interested to see how difficult from a roles kind of responsibility kind of stuff, from a player playing the 5, when they find themselves out at the top of the arc, almost having to play a shot that they're not used to. It's not in their kind of roles. And it's interesting how this game, it seems to be that's 2 or 3 big threes gone up. And foul called on the 3. Tudor makes it. Foul on Ariana Puyol. And we've got a chance for a possible 4-point play.
You could see, they've done a really good job at keeping Tudor quiet. She's obviously an excellent player, but Pujol's given her no room to land when she's come down, and that's why the foul's being called. Yeah,
Tudor's averaged over 20 points a game so far for them.
And then, they've kept her quiet today. But, again, you don't want to let her start getting going.
Tudor has experience from playing in Australia and in Germany. Coming into this women's British basketball season, as Sam Roscoe puts the 3 up, rebounded by, I think it's Taylor Willis. No, it's Freeman, sorry.
Definitely having more success.
Turnover pass, Puyol looking to push the tempo. And Ndai, Freeman coming into the steal, brilliant play. Ball is Gladiators ball. Both girls hitting the floor there, trying to fight for it. It's a brilliant game, 4-point game, 4.5 to go in the half. Low scoring as we just touched on, but both teams playing some brilliant defence.
They are, and I think actually it's coming down to the poor offensive scoring, really. And I know that sounds very obvious, but the shots just aren't dropping. And Jai, every time she comes on, she brings something off that bench that they always need.
Yeah, Ndai is on 8 points personal as Puyol drives in, hard finish, left-handed.
Really nice use of her body there as well, the way she almost like scrunched herself up to protect the ball and the player coming over her back.
Freeman against Puyol, loads of space, no help, and an easy layup for Freeman, 26-22.
Yeah, Rebels had a really nice, they had the isolation there to the point that Pujol was actually able to ask for the help, but they were so far out that nobody was able to get there in time.
Bintu again given the space to shoot. Hannah Robb with the ball, looks to Sam Roscoe. Looking for some help. Bintu mid-range jump shot. Misses out. Roscoe for the rebound, but out-fought by Tudor. And the ball's in Freeman's hand as she looks to push it down the floor. The bigs go into battle inside. Reese turns. Cross-court pass. out to Taylor Willis, and she hits the three. 26-25, 3.5 to go. Obviously, coach hasn't. Coach Ortega looking, the subs about to check in again as he looks to rounds the changes. Bintu giving loads of space again, puts the ball on the floor, drives in, finishes right hand, makes the scoop layup past Reese.
That's what I was talking about earlier. You know, she's going to have to take it to her if she's going to sit that deep, because if not, you're basically taking yourself out of the game.
Hands were in there, and Dai loses it out, tied up. Foul on Bintu.
I think she just got her arm stuck in there. You know,
Essex looking for the unsportsmanlike call there, but yeah, 100% agree. Both players kind of got tangled up, and Bintu's just stopped the ball going into her. So checking out, we've got Puyol, Ndaye and Roscoe checking in, Kirsty Brown, Robin Lewis and Erin McCarrigan.
All four Scots on the court at the same time.
Taylor Willis checking out and Claire Paxton checking in for the Essex Rebels. She's made a massive impact in her time on the force there, Taylor Willis.
She has, and you know, when you're that deep off the bench, you know, people don't necessarily expect as much from you, but she's come out and shown that she could easily have come on earlier.
Reese with the first free throw makes it. Gladiators and team fouls. It's 5-2 for this quarter. Essex with plenty of fouls to give. And she makes them both. Robin Lewis again taking the ball across half court. Bintu again, loads of space, looking to use her foot speed, takes in Reese, spins around left hand, foul called, and that's what the Gladiators need to probably look to do against Reese, use their foot speed. They've got girls like Kirsty Brown, Bintu Low, even Evenia Putra, who've able to put the ball on the floor but also use their own space to create.
Indeed, you know, that one's come up against Tudor, but the fact that you're even taking it in there and you are drawing the fouls, whereas when you're sitting outside, shooting, you know, the long two or you're shooting the three, you're not forcing Essex to do anything.
And referee Chris Dodds called a tech warning on, I think it was on the bench of Essex. Has Bintu made the first free throw. Misses the second. And Paxton, it's almost replicating what we saw earlier on, pushing the ball down the floor. Gets the space. And she makes it again. You touched on it earlier, Robin Lewis has the ball. Rona, Claire Paxton given that space, happy to have the ball in her hands, goes all on her own as Bintu goes the same down the other end.
You can make basketball as simple as that, you know, instead of, you know, big long plays, you cut to hoop, score. 31-29
as, referees disagreeing here. One's calling the offensive foul, but Ian McDonald calling the block.
Are we going rock, paper, scissors? No, we're not.
I don't think Ian McDonald will be overruled there. Not many refs would look to overrule Ian.
I'm sure there's a rule about if it's a certain bit and they call it or something. I don't know. My level one didn't cover that. Back in 19. No.
Turner checks back in, Reese sits down. Essex going with their slightly smaller lineup as Tudor goes to the line shooting two.
She makes that look easy, doesn't she? Nothing but net.
Tudor taking the second shot. Ties the game up 31 all. Ticking down to 2 minutes to go in the half. Gladiators with the ball. Bintu is top of the arc, looking to establish Kirsty Brown inside. She goes to work in Turner, gets her mark on the up, but misses it. And Turner looks to push it down the floor.
You almost feel like Brown was looking for Erin to cut, but
Tudor for three, short. Bintu gathers it. Bintu looks to establish herself, turns it over. Turner with the ball out to Freeman, but great hands by Hannah Robb. And travel's called. Freeman looked to establish herself there, not really giving Hannah Robb any space to go get anything back in court.
From my eagle-eye position, I would have said there maybe was a little bit of contact, but you know, nothing, you know, it's the referee's decision in that case. It wasn't obvious enough to give a foul.
Chris Dodds a metre away, us 25-30. Three ball goes up again. Hannah Robb with a rebound. Less than a minute and a half to go. It's 31 points to 31. And McCann top of the arc, looking for some help, looking for some movement off the ball. Hannah Robb now plays into Kirsty Brown. Great hands as Essex Rebels push the floor through Turner into Taylor. Freeman and one. The Essex Rebels bench making a massive impact.
Yeah, and I think I need to go away and check what my understanding is of the charge rule, because I thought she was, absorbing contact there. But again,
you learned that on level 2.
Yeah, no, never. She needs to probably establish herself a little bit more. Maybe she's a little bit to the side, but really nice take by Freeman. Converts the 3-point play.
Yeah, Essex Rebels takes a 3-point lead with a minute to go in the half. Robin Lewis pulls the ball up. Kirsty Brown gathers it, and now Hannah Robb with the cut, but turns it over, ball into Bush's hands. And the turnover's beginning to ramp up a wee bit for the Gladiators. Freeman making a massive impact in this game, drives inside, and that's called a block again. I've got no refereeing qualifications, so I don't want to comment on that, but I think Hannah Robb's been pretty set there.
Yeah, my mouth is making an shape. But you know, that's what you've got to play against sometimes, and you've got to be like, okay, they're not giving it. I think she's maybe checking with the bench.
That's Hannah Robb's third foul. Essex to the line shooting 2. Freeman makes the first one. That's her up to 6 points personal, making a massive impact.
Freeman is someone that gets a lot of calls the way she goes to hoop, and is maybe quite awkward in how she goes about it.
Misses it, and the rebound's in the Gladiators' hand. They'll look to push it down while they go for the 2-for-1 kind of situation. Or would they look to get their offense flowing? McGarrigan. Ortega rolling with Hannah Robb staying in, risking her 4th foul. She's up against Bush, who plays Robin Lewis with the ball again. Looking to create space, looking for the open shooter. Kirsty Brown for 2, makes the shot. We're into the final 10 seconds.
Gladiators needed that shot.
Yes, big shot, and actually, from a team offense point of view, they really needed it as well. And the 3 balls off by Turner. An end-to-end quarter we finish with Gladiators 33, Essex Rebels 35.
I always wonder when the clock's ticking down like that, if actually that's the best option, dribbling quite far out and then just go for the long 3 ball. That's not what's been working for them during the game, so why would that be what they go for now?
As the teams head to the changing rooms at half time, as we said, the Rebels lead by 2. Curious to see what Coach Ortega, he used his timeouts really early on in that half, how he'll look to get the team going for the second half.
Yes, and I also feel like Essex look to rotate their bench more traditionally, as putting the same players sort of in and out, what was working, what wasn't working, whereas Coach Ortega seems to be going more with certain sets, and then he's only just started to put in like individual subs as opposed to 3s and 5s.
And it's the thing, Essex have played game. They're coming to probably prove a point against the Gladiators. They're probably, you look at players like Claire Paxton, 10 points personal, and you just see. I wonder how that team's going to adapt heading into the second half.
Indeed, and I also think that when just joined by Mr. Steve Timoney himself. What's that? Is that you getting the hot dog order in?
Say again, sorry?
Is that you getting the hot dog in?
Absolutely, you want one?
I'm okay.
Hot dog.
I'll have a
Hot
burger
dog
then, Steve. We're just currently waiting on Donnie to go. He's currently at the referee's table waiting on stats. Annie's in the corner. An impromptu visit from the owner there. But from our Gladiators as well, we look at the stats. And it's a game that when you look at this, the way the stats have gone, 36% shooting, both teams shooting below 35%. And you know what, we'll head over to Annie courtside, who will be grabbing Donnie any second now.
I'm here with Donnie, assistant coach of the Gladiators. Donnie held Essex to 35 points in the first half. What's working so well on defense?
Sorry?
What's working so well on defense?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think our defense is working particularly well.
Our communication has not been at the level we expect. We're letting them get to their right hand, get into the lane, and we're arriving late, committing far too many fouls. So, okay, 35 points is maybe because they've not made shots, but our defense is nowhere near the level it needs to be right now.
I was going to say both teams quite evenly matched in the first half. I was going to ask what you need to adjust going into the second half, but that does answer it. Anything else?
No, I think obviously it's difficult to refocus coming from a European game, but we've got to learn. We've got to be able to come in and play with a top level of intensity, irrespective of whether we've played 3 days ago or not.
Thanks, Donnie. Good luck in the second half. Thank you. That concludes our first half of basketball. We have Rebels 35, Gladiators 33.
And we're back. We are 4.5 minutes away from the second half beginning. We've just seen highlights, Rona, of the Euro Cup win away to Benfica. A brilliant 53-64 point win. Always tough to go on the road, but the team really delivered.
They did indeed. I think watching those highlights back, you're like, yeah, that's how the girls can play. Whereas what we're seeing today is not them, and I think that's credit to Essex, it's credit to their game plan and obviously how they've scouted. You can see when the different matchups are coming on from Gladiators, Essex seem to know what they're going to do and they're matching them up well, and that's why, quite rightly, they're 2 points in the lead. I think, Gladiators still aren't back out the changing room, and I highly doubt that's because, they're giving each other high fives and chilling and having some Haribo. I think there'll be some harsh words going on. You could hear from Coach McDonald there at the end of the half, him and Coach Ortega and also Chantel, who we've not seen on the court, and also in that assistant coach role, they were not happy with their defence, and I can see why. They're not talking to each other, they're either all over helping or then there's no help, and that's not something that you can do. They are performing so well in Europe that they're likely going to go on into the next round, and they're looking at hopefully being a high seed for that. But when they do go on to the next round, that they don't want that to be the end. They don't want to be knocked out, so they've got to raise their game again. They've all got to look at themselves and think, okay, what can I do more and what can I do better to help the team?
Yeah, so there's a likely the next round of after we played Namur midweek, a likely tie either the week of the 14th or 21st of December. We'd hope to have the home leg on the 21st. But yeah, brilliant. You saw the difference Chantel Handy made that night. We've not seen her today yet. We've not seen her much domestically. But what a brilliant shooting performance she had in Benfica.
She did, and I also just think, I don't know if Coach Miguel plays poker, but he's got an excellent face, doesn't he? Because you look at him and you can't tell what he's thinking a lot of the time. So you're not very sure he's come out. He looks pretty chilled. You can see him get on all these players' backs, but I'll be interested to see how they come out and how they start the game and how they look to the rotations. With Essex, like you talked about at the top, Claire Paxton's come in, she's leading with 10 points, she's actually leading all scorers. She's not exactly playing massive minutes at the moment, so how are they going to use her? You've not even seen Munns or Bush get hot from three yet. If that starts to happen, Gladiators have got a real problem on their hands.
And we probably can see it from both teams struggling from outside. It's a pretty low scoring game so far, and it's interesting seeing, you look at how the European impact, and this is something we see talked a lot more in across British basketball, more teams competing in Europe, and how teams transferred that domestic form into European form and reversing that. And Essex have been out a couple of minutes getting those shots up, and the Gladiators have been on the floor maybe a minute and a half. And it's going to be really interesting to see what version of both teams come out. Doesn't look like we're going to see much of Chantel Handy. She's only just joining the layup line. And it's going to be interesting to see who grabs that early momentum heading into the second half.
Yeah, and that's where each player's got to look inside themselves, whether you're on the Gladiator side or the Essex side, and it comes down to who wants it more. I've never heard of a team who wanted it more to lose necessarily, because you go out and then you translate that into hustle, you translate that into your defence, attacking boards, looking for the better shot, making a good pass. you know, Essex, they have got a good roster. I think, you know, sometimes we can be like, okay, Lions and Gladiators in Europe, so we automatically expect them to be miles and streets ahead. But Essex have cultivated and made a really nice roster here. You know, they've got several girls that have returned. They've added to it. We talked about at the start of the show, we don't have Whitehead today. You know, if you put her into this as well, you know, would they be pushing out even more at the moment? Sometimes, though, missing one of your better players can help the others and pull together the team. So it's all about dynamics, isn't it? It's all about what happens on the day. But it's a real test of character for the Gladiators. They're 2 points down at the half. How are they going to bounce back from this? Or are they?
Of course, and as the referees step back on the court, we're 20 seconds away from the third quarter beginning. The score is Gladiators 33, the Essex Rebels 35. Rona, who do you think Coach Ortega will look to step up?
I think he's going to look to his more senior players, you know, and those who've got more experience under their belt. Interesting seeing Njai, you know, not starting. She's always been an impressive player for me. When she comes on, she contributes so much. Looks like he's not starting with the same five, so he's come back in with Pujol, Robin, Sammy Roscoe, Bintulo, and
it looks like Erin
McGarrigan down there at the end. You know, so you've got a really nice blend of experience and height there. So I imagine they're probably just going to try and go with that sort of full court press and also try and secure these rebounds. But then
Rebels back on the floor first. They come back with Paxton, Megan Haynes, Renee Bush, Kat Tudor and Reese. Gladiators have Samantha Roscoe, Robin Lewis, Ariana Puyol, Erin McCarrigan and Bintel Lou. Ball's in Paxton's hand, she looks to get it in, and Bush has it as we get the third quarter underway.
Pujol with that bit of height on Haynes, maybe that's going to be to try and force her, you know, when she does attack the hoop to either think twice or...
Yeah, it's an interesting change and it's worked to start there for the Gladiators. Ball's in Robin Lewis' hands, she spins it out to Puyol, who goes to work on Haynes, cuts it back out. Garrigan inside Puyol trying to establish herself. Almost turns it over off her foot, looking for help, goes to her left hand, gets her own rebound somehow. Out to Bintu and foul.
Smart foul there by Bush, you know, Bintu wide open right under the hoop, whereas put her on the line, make her have to score them from there.
Yeah, absolutely, but a promising start from the Gladiators, great bit of defensive pressure, forcing the turnover and trying to establish their kind of presence both inside and out there.
Indeed, and you know, they've got to do that again and again and again and again. You know, one good defensive stop, unless I suppose it's the last play of the game, isn't going to be necessarily what wins you the game.
Absolutely, so Bintu at the line, shooting two.
Been asked to make a fashion adjustment, it would seem. I think it was tucking the shirt back in again.
She's 2 from 4 so far from the line. And the first one finally gets the ball from the referee, and yeah, she makes the first.
What do you prefer, noisy plays for free throws or quiet plays for free throws?
That's a really good question. Can you have somewhere in between?
No,
I think you'd rather have some
area.
noise.
Yeah,
absolutely
noise
have
is
some
easier.
noise.
I think when you feel like everyone's watching, you're like, oh.
Rennie Bush takes the ball over half court into Claire Paxton's hand. Turnover again, a great defensive start to this second half. Puyol driving the ball forward. As Paxton gets back into defence, Erin McCarrigan's open. 3-ball up, misses. That for neither team, these 3-point shots are dropping.
No, and you sort of think she maybe thought it was in the way she started to track back, whereas if she'd gone forwards, she would likely have got her own rebounds.
Puyol puts her hands on Tudor's hips. Referee McDonald calls it a foul.
Pushing her onto her third as well.
And yeah, Puyol onto 3 fouls.
And as Coach Ortega has just succinctly said, no more stupid fouls. So he obviously agrees with us.
Double screen, Tudor goes round, goes from her right hand to her left hand. Brilliant layup by the Rebels forward. Robin Lewis fakes the shot, drives in against Tudor, pushes out to Bintu for the long 2. Airballs it, and it'll be an Essex inline ball. And that's exactly the type of defence and offence that Essex will want to get from the Gladiators.
Indeed, you know, Reese is planting herself in there, and there's no rules against that, but Gladiators have got to look at either how to get her to move or, you know, to find a better shot than that.
And fouls beginning to ramp up for the Gladiators here. Referee McDonald calls that one on Erin Carrigan. Her second personal. I think that's the 15th foul so far for the Gladiators. And we've still got just under 8.5 to go as Rebels push it over Tudor. And another foul called. This one I think's on McCarrican as she looked for help.
Here's a question. Do you think sometimes, you know, go from between domestic and European, slightly different referees? You know, I know Chris Dodds has extensive FIBA, you know, international experience, but that can sometimes be an adjustment too.
Yeah, but however, I think that one was a foul.
Oh, no, I know, I was just meaning in general when you're like, we've now racked
grabbed
up
her
15,
back.
16.
So, but yes, the foul counts high. Tudor drives in. Foul called again. We've had 3 fouls in this play alone, and that's on Puyol, but Puyol wasn't even in the play.
She was
And that's her 4th. And that'll be her checking out the game with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter as Ndai checks in. And this is a situation so far the Gladiators haven't found themselves in. You've got players struggling foul trouble. You've also then got been down in the game. The Gladiators haven't trailed in a game for a while. And this will be playing exactly with the situation Essex would have liked. As Haynes drives for the layup, but blocked by Roscoe.
Roscoe's like, not today, or not right now.
And out to Ndai, Ndai to Bintu, drives baseline, goes under the basket, misses the layup, and no one's there to gather the rebound for the Gladiators. It's in the hands of Haynes, who's Claire Paxton again with the ball in hand. We've seen this a few times where she's able to find the space. Tudor goes behind the back, but Samantha Roscoe with the hands. Gladiators fall over themselves, and ball's back in the Essex Rebels' hands. Again, great hands, interior defence by the Gladiators. Can they now get out on offence and create? And Ndai for the easy 2. Looked herself to create that contact. And it's 37 all.
Tough finish.
What a crazy 2 minutes.
That was indeed. Pound per foul.
Tudor drives, looking for the contact. None called on Bintu. She was straight up. Robin Lewis pushes it. Almost travels, but chucks the ball up off the backboard. And another turnover for the Gladiators as Haynes pushes it down the floor. Tudor open for 3. Fouled.
I think we're seeing credit to Essex. They are absolutely balling out there at the moment, 100%. And we've never seen Gladiators, you know, like you say, they were rolling on top of each other over there. Robin second-guessed herself. You saw she went to make the pass, but then she could see the 2 defenders there. So then she went for that sort of random half in the air thing, and then she's come back down. You know, in textbook, you're annoyed at yourself at one end, you create the foul at the other end. You know, and that's again, she's such a level, smart player. We saw that extensively last season. I know she'll be annoyed at herself with that, but you know, Essex are taking this game to Gladiators, and at the moment they're just trying to keep up and hold on.
Yeah, it's definitely that. The momentum's clearly with the Essex Rebels. Tudor at the line, she makes the first. Homer Jones just checked in for Robin Lewis. Crowd making lots of noise here at PlaySport. Tudor makes the first 2 of 3. We said she was quiet heading into the second half, and she's already up to, I think she's now might be up to 10 points.
I call that a commentator's boost as opposed to a commentator's curse.
Yeah, when you're averaging over 20 points a game, you expect to see her contributions both as a scorer. And Ndai pulls up for the 3. That's another miss from 3 for the Gladiators into the hands of Bush. And Ndai tries to get the steal, but out to Tudor's hand. Cross-court pass into Claire Paxton. In her face defence by Omer Jones, who
really
gathers
nice.
the loose ball. Great rebound by Omer Jones.
She came from literally off the court onto the court to get it.
Bintu looking to get an established inside presence, which isn't really working. And Ndai driving against Haynes as well. Throws it up, misses. McCarrican tries to gather, but ends up in the hands of Omer Jones. Another one tries to establish herself. Roscoe misses the shot. None of the referees kind of put up what type of shot that was, but it doesn't matter. Kat Tudor brings the ball forward. Omer Jones is now on her. We've got 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Rebels lead by 3. Claire Paxton spins past Samantha Roscoe and foul, I think, will be called on Erin McCarrigan, and it'll be 2 shots.
That's just, poor defence there, because both Lowe and McGarrigan were there and they came away with a foul as opposed to being able to stand tall and force her to make the more difficult shot.
And the foul was actually called on Lowe. And we've now got a timeout called on the floor. Gladiators trailing 40 points to 37. If you're the Gladiator, if you're Coach Ortega, what are you really looking to get out of this timeout?
I think, you settle the team. They're a bit ruffled. They're still only down by 3. Rebels are playing well. Like we talked about before, it's not like they're necessarily hitting everything, but they are raising the tempo, and Gladiators either need to settle back into their own tempo or they need to go out there and match it. They started brightly at the start of the third quarter, but that's kind of gone away again. And I think this is something we're sort of seeing, that we saw it slightly in the Benfica game, that when the scoring dries up, they maybe get a little bit frustrated, and then the defence doesn't produce the same. But your defence tends to generate your offence. So instead of, getting overly focused on my three's not dropping or I'm not quite getting to the hoop, play really nice defence, turn the ball over so that you can get those opportunities and stop Rebels from racking up any more of a lead.
19 fouls committed by the Gladiators. The Essex Rebels are shooting 84% from free throw. That's 16 points from the free throw line so far for the Rebels, compared to 8 for the Gladiators. As both teams step out onto the floor, the Gladiators line up with Kirsty Brown, Samantha Roscoe, Kian Omer-Jones, Erin McCarrigan and Dai. Rebels have Claire Paxton, Tudor, Bush, Haynes, and I think Tia Freeman. Yes, it is. And we've seen the impact Freeman and has had off the bench, so it'll be curious to see how she goes with her next run on the court.
She's another player, that's very good at attacking the hoop and dribbling in, and see at the moment, that's exactly what I'd be telling my players to do if I was the Essex coach, because Gladiators are fouling. So even if you're not getting the shot away, you're likely to get the call and be put on the line.
Yeah, and Gladiators are in team fouls, but Claire Paxton misses both, and the ball ends up in Dai's hand as she pushes the ball down the court again. Gladiators look to establish an offence. Been really impressed by the Essex defence so far. Kirsty Brown takes the 3 and is nowhere near the hoop, and it becomes a Rebels ball. It almost seems as with that space, the Gladiator bigs are just looking to take that shot because of the space they've been given.
Indeed, and they do score them in other games. They're not scoring them today, and that's something obviously Essex have taken the chance on, and it's working for them.
Claire Paxton gets the ball. Haynes drives inside, and Dai steals it. Kirsty Brown gathers it and back in Dai's hand. Misses the easy layup, or not really easy layup, contested layup. Claire Paxton pushing it down the floor. Doesn't go to the hoop, but looks for Freeman, who has the space. Out to Bush, ran off the 3-point line. Paxton given the space though, doesn't make the shot, out into Bush's hands with the defensive rebound. Tudor for 3, makes it. 6-point game here.
For me, that started from Bush getting the rebound. Why was she getting a rebound uncontested underneath the basket?
Essex shooting over 30% from 3, whereas the Gladiators are shooting 7% from the 3-point line. Omer-Jones with the ball. She fronts up against Bush, goes for the shot. It seems to be a lot of Gladiators not confident to shoot, but there's one who normally isn't scared to put the ball up, but again shots missed, and turnover there by Haynes. Gladiators needing to establish some sort of offense, and it looks like there's a lid in that basket as Kirsty Brown's unable to put the layup in. Rebels transfer down the court really well, balls up, rebound. The game's kind of loosening up a wee bit.
Yeah. You say there's a lid on the basket, but I'd also disagree and say they're taking tough shots. They're taking far outside shots, they're taking unbalanced shots, like hook over their head. And don't get me wrong, I know they've got the skills to be able to score them, but sometimes you just need a solid layup or a solid drive and maybe a little step through.
Roscoe, another 3 goes up, but rebounded by Kirsty Brown. She's looking to work herself in, gets her own rebound, gathers the ball, and puts the 2-hand layup back in the basket.
And they need more of that, just solid, hard work.
Claire Paxton with the ball back in her hand up against Kirsty Brown. They're looking to establish Haynes.
You can see Coach Miguel was wanting more pressure on that ball handler coming up the court.
Bush given space, looks out, Tudor almost in the corner, 3 ball goes up, 3 ball made. Essex beginning to get their offence flowing and shots are dropping. And Dye has the ball again, looking to see what the offence will look like. On the shot clock. Roscoe, they switch off her, and there's an easy 2 inside. 41-46. Gladiators trail by 5. Bush drives, the inside opens up. Tudor again from the outside. This one doesn't drop and it's into the hands of Kirsty Brown. Miguel Ortega not happy about the defence translating down the floor. Roscoe chucks the 3 but gathered by Ndai, gets the rebound, puts it back in, and it looks like Essex timeout. Yeah, Coach Cookson not happy with his bigs not getting that rebound over Ndai.
Yeah, fair play to her. She got in there and we see that she gets good position and she's got some nice hawks on her as well, and she gets the easy shot put back in. I still think Gladiators have got a lot of work to do. You know, they're managing to keep it themselves in this, but only just.
Yeah, 43-46, Rebels lead by 3. Rebels call a timeout off the score. He'll be just looking to get that defence switch back in because offensively the game's beginning to flow for him. Definitely,
and you know the 3 has been dropping for them and they've been pushing the ball really nicely up the court, but sometimes you're like, would it be easier, you know, to maybe slow it down a little bit, play the ball around, get a better open look.
And for the Gladiators, if anything, it feels like the Gladiators are just sticking in this game. Who do you think from this Gladiators team could be the one to kind of really push them forward? Is it Ndai?
I feel like Ndai's going out there and she's the one that is doing it for them at the moment. We see that in other games. I feel like, you know, we just need to see someone come alive inside and really challenge Rees in there. I mean, pedantic, but we're back using a Moulton. They used the Wilson during the week. Is that maybe why the shots are a bit off? I used the Wilson for the first time on Friday night, and that's why I couldn't score a basket.
Always an excuse. Always a good excuse somewhere.
Whole first half, and then I was like, but I need to get that mindset because it becomes a thing in your head, like, oh, we've switched balls. That's the problem. You know. I mean, I'll grasp it, any excuse at this age. But you know, those little fine margins. But the girls, they're paid professionals. Like, they should be able to adapt to that.
Both teams back out on the floor, out of the timeout. Tudor takes the ball over, McCarrican guarding her. Putra and Hannah Robb check back in for the Gladiators. Tudor drives, got the taller Putra up against her, is playing really intense defence. Rees against the smaller defender, guarded by 3, and we have a wedgie.
A ball situation. Who's going to go and get it? Oh no, they're getting a ball to get it out.
Or at least use the mop or something.
It's one of those awkward ones sometimes by doing what Kirsty just did there, which is the right thing to do, but sometimes that wedges it, or it wedges it tighter and you're like, oh no, and once you've committed to getting it out, you don't want to not get it out. Basketball problems, eh?
I know, eh? So
or usually you do that and then like 17 shuttlecocks also come out off the strings, depending on the type of hoop.
British basketball issues there, badminton shuttlecocks. So out of that stop and play, Gladiators with the ball in hand, and Dye, Kirsty Brown top of the arc into Erin McCarrican, sorry. Putra looking to go up against the top Rees, and Dye given space, and she makes the 3. 46 all here. Just under 2 minutes to go in the quarter. And the ball's in Tudor's hand. You've got Tudor and Ndai both stepping up for the team. Hannah Robb blocking the path in there. Double team on Bush. Finds the open player. And they make the 3. We've gone from a game where nobody was hitting threes to it's raining.
Yeah.
It's raining now.
It is indeed. And good old Scottish rain.
And that's Daniela Turner's first points of the game. Ndai. Oh, almost a steal there from Freeman. Pritchard looks to get to work. Great layup. Looking to establish. That's a brilliant matchup that could be a big into the fourth quarter.
It could, and that's what's going to happen. Like I said, we need somebody to come alive on the inside. We need them to work well together.
Rees almost hands off the Bush but holds it. Drive inside by Freeman. Just a great attempt to lay up, but miss. Great defense foul and put on the shot. And Rees will go to the line for the free throw. This is probably one of the most animated I've ever seen Coach Ortega.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, it's games like this, that's when you see, you know, what's actually in a team. You see actually, you know, where he's going to look to, because he's been able to be quite free with his rotations up until now, whereas now he's having to, you know, look at what's working and go to that.
Reese makes the first of 2 free throws. Gladiators, as we said, from about 5 minutes into this quarter, we're in team fouls. And it bobbles out. Rebels lead by 2 into the final minute of this quarter.
Reese is a rebounding machine, isn't she? Sitting on 7 today, usually gets 15.
Dye drives inside, tough left-hand finish, doesn't gather it. Foul called. Looks like it's on Reese. Yeah, Chris Dodd calls it on the defense, and it'll be a Gladiator inline ball. Turner checks out, and the energetic Haynes checks back in. Can Gladiators get the ball in play? They do it just, and Dye in the corner 3, misses it. Great battle inside,
yeah,
and Tudor
like
comes in for the rebound. Fouled, called there. Looked like Erin just had her hands forward. Yeah, that's what Ian McDonald symbols.
Yeah, you wonder why Erin had possession. You wonder why she didn't just stand. But
Still.
then, I'll maybe ask her later. I'm sure she'll be like, Rona, be quiet and sit down.
Well, that's her 4th foul for Erin McCarrigan. 31 seconds to go in the half.
And this is going to matter, you know, she's on 4, Ariadne's on 4, you know, got Hannah Robb sitting on 3. That's 3 big players, you know, for the Gladiators.
Freeman makes the first free throw. Missed the second, but Reese tries to gather the rebound, but it's a Gladiators ball.
Now, if my maths teacher taught me right, Essex have a third of the fouls that Gladiators have, so that maybe shows you that they need to tidy up their hands and they need to move their feet faster.
As Gladiators look to get an offensive flow to close out the quarter, Hannah Robb gathers the ball, guarded by Bush. 6 seconds to go, forces the pass inside. Turnover again for the Gladiators. Reese gathers it, it's now in the hands of Haynes. Less than 6 seconds to go. Haynes looking to get space, dishes out, but Pucha interrupts it. Doesn't gather the ball to chuck up the half-court shot. And there we go, end of 3. Gladiators 48, the Essex Rebels 51. The Rebels lead by 3 as we head into the 3rd quarter break. Rona, both teams having runs in that quarter. Essex seem to, or they are 3 points up, but they seem to just be in control of the game a little bit more.
They do, and I think it's definitely still, they're dictating the tempo of this game, and Gladiators are still, you know, trying to keep up with them. I have to say, you know, I'm really impressed with how Essex are playing. They're really looking at their strengths, and they're driving that ball hard inside. They're pulling the fouls, they're dishing it out, they're making the threes, and when you are more confident, you are going to nail those shots. Concerned about doom and gloom, you know, Gladiators are still only down by 3, and I would say this is probably one of the worst performances we've seen from them. So, you know, to be playing as they are and to be down by 3, you know, there's lots that they can do. They've got plenty more gears they can come to. It's just who's going to take this game now by the scruff of their neck for the Gladiators and be able to pull them back up and push them ahead of the Rebels. Whereas at the moment the Rebels are playing well together. Rebels, that to me would look like the team that have, you know, been away playing and they've played more games than the Gladiators.
And when you look at the stats, very much when you look at the Gladiators, a team that share the ball really well. Only 5 assists. So the Gladiators aren't getting into their normal offense. Is that through a good Rebels defense? Is it the transfer out from European action midweek? But that's something that's massively off. The Gladiators, they have so many, they have, I think, 3 or 4 girls in the top 10 in the league in assists.
Yeah, you know, again, we were talking about it beforehand. They've got 3 players that average 4.5 assists each per game. You know, and that stat of only having 5 assists for the entire game, like, that's massive, and that'll be something they go and look at. But to me, that shows tightness, and that just shows, you know, they've gone away from what works for them. it's very easy. You see it sometimes in the men's game as well, that, you know, when they're playing well, the ball's flying from side to side, you know, it's going inside, it's coming outside because they trust each other, they're loose. Whereas the minute games get tight, you kind of want to, you overtake care of the ball, and then the ball doesn't move as much, and if the ball's not moving as much, the defence don't have to move, and then you're pushing up tight shots.
And as we're about to start this fourth quarter, will Essex just look to do the same? Will they? What do you think they might be looking to tidy
Essex are
up?
winning, so do they need to change anything? You know, I guess don't fix what ain't broken.
So yeah, fourth quarter starts. It's a 3-point lead for the Rebels, and the ball's in Haynes' hands. Reese at the top of the arc, heavily guarded by Putra. Offensive foul called on Renee Bush. Spotted by referee McDonald.
The coach can spot it all he wants, but I don't think it's going to allow him to blow a whistle.
I was thinking of Donny for a second.
More than one person can have the name McDonald. Especially in Scotland.
Especially in Scotland. Putra out to Puyol. Puyol back in the game. 4 fouls. You can probably look for her kind of leadership and dive with the 3 ball quite early in the shot clock, but Kirsty Brown gathers it, goes up for the hard layup, makes it though. Full court press from the Gladiators, ball ends up in Freeman's hands as she pushes it down, guarded now by Puyol. Out to Cantuda, who really caught fire in that third quarter.
Yeah, you can see she's a player of class.
Freeman puts the 3 up, rebounded by Ndai. He's going coast to coast, doesn't make it, and it comes off 2 Rebels' hands, and it's a Gladiators inline ball. That's what you quite like to see from Ndai. She's not scared to just go the whole way if she has to, with no offense or really little movement on the offense. She creates her own shot.
Yeah, she does.
Can Gladiators get the ball inbound? They do just again. Puyol, tough rebound, tough layup, misses it. Rebound gathered in by the Rebels. Freeman, been a big influence off the bench here, gets it into Tudor's hands. Well, she looked to go herself. Looks at the clock. Bush having to drive inside, creates her own shot. Shots off. Puyol gathers the rebound again. The Gladiators out and running.
The crowd are definitely getting behind the home team here, aren't they? They're trying to lift them.
Yes, with 8 minutes to go, the Gladiators looking to use the crowd to help them get back in the kind of game. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Putra trying to go to work, misses it. Reese with the rebound, and it's still just a 1-point lead for the Rebels as time begins to tick down on the Gladiators. Freeman drives, Dish kicks it back out, and travel called by referee Dodds on Freeman. Didn't expect the bump, probably then landed, then tried to pass the ball.
It's just one of those sort of sequence of events. I think they were maybe looking for the offensive screen call up at the top, but that's where you've just got to keep playing. Putra going to the bench, you know, maybe looking to bring in the more experience of been to a little bit more height.
Maybe a bit more foot speed under the basket as well. Maybe a bit more confidence shooting from further away from the basket as well. Kirsty Brown, Hannah Robb. We've not really seen the offensive play of Hannah Robb tonight from 3. Puyol drives in, makes the left-handed layup, and the Gladiators lead by 1.
Really nice use of her body there. Really nice putting her body between her and the ball.
Yeah, Puyol does such a good job. Doesn't matter if it's going left or right. Favours the left hand, of course, but it's brilliant at driving inside. Kirsty Brown guarding Claire Paxton. Bintu doesn't get the rebound. Haynes dishes it out to Bush for 3. Shots off. And Reese is just getting every rebound. And Haynes blows the layup. Probably was trying to expect some contact, but Bintu stayed on the floor. Kirsty Brown scoops it up, and the ball drops. Gladiators beginning to pull a wee bit of the momentum. They're now leading by 3. Will Essex look to slow it down, get an offense flowing? Tudor's open in the corner for 3, and that's off. Puyol grabs the rebound. And this game, we talk about basketball being all about momentum. Certainly is back in the Gladiators' hands.
Yep.
Puyol dumps it off to Kirsty Brown, blocked by Reese. She looks to go again, maybe gets a bit of space. Round, looking for a call, nothing from Reese. Paxton on the floor.
It's all a bit mad out there at the moment, isn't it?
It's just gone a bit crazy. Nobody looks in control of it, but Reese puts in the left-handed layup. And this scrappy play is going to happen when the game is this tight. But it's going to be interesting to see who's the one that just takes control heading into the final 6 minutes.
And also how Essex come back and respond after this little Gladiators run.
Hannah Robb takes the three. I've just said she's not been there. Hannah Robb then takes the three, forces Rebels into a timeout. And that's something you can see what it means. The bench are up, the crowd are involved, the players are appreciating that contribution from Hannah there.
Yeah, and it just shows you that, she just gave a little bit of a fake, which just forced Bush to take that little sort of half step off her so she could get her shot away. Hannah does that from when she was under 14 right up to her JB senior caps, and that's what she's going to do. And that's what you need. You need to be doing what you can do to help the team.
Absolutely. So we've got a timeout on the floor called by the Essex Rebels coach Cookston. Gladiators lead by 4. It's really back and forth this whole game. What can Essex now step up to do? Because they started the fourth quarter okay, a couple of turnovers, and their shots have stopped going.
Yep, when their shot stops going, you then just need to look at how do you double down on the rebounding or how do you double down on getting the ball inside. Reese hasn't really put much of a foot wrong today, so that's definitely something they need to be looking to hit inside, but I see why they're not, because there is a lot of height in there, so it's been working for them. Haynes, unlucky, she's had a couple of sort of layups that she's undercooked. She'll know to just push them a little bit higher, but when you think someone's coming across to block you, you maybe think you're going to get the contact. Also though, Gladiators not bailing them out by moving their feet and playing better defence, that can also help. Like I said, last time it was like 21-8 the foul count. I've not counted since then because I ran out of fingers.
And at this stage in the last quarter, Gladiators were already in team fouls, so we're seeing that from a defensive point of view, the Gladiators cleared up the cheap fouls they were committing. We've got full court press on as the players are back on the court. Samantha Roscoe trying to stop the inbound from Claire Paxton, and the ball is back in Bush's hands with Hannah Robb guarding her.
Everyone really active, everybody moving their feet.
Wow, Claire Paxton drops off her foot from the intense defence from Samantha Roscoe. Gladiators have the ball, 5.5 to go. It's a 4-point lead for the Gladiators. And that's the kind of stop that Gladiators will look for out of a timeout, but from an Essex point of view, that won't be what coach will want.
No, that's likely to have annoyed him, but G'd up the Gladiators.
Gladiators move the ball round, but get it into Bintu. Out to Ndai. Goes to the screen from Bintu, drives in against Haynes. Foul called as Samantha Roscoe drives inside, looking for the and one, but gets fouled. Foul, I think, in Claire Paxton, and that will be her second of the game. Freeman checks back in for Reese as Samantha Roscoe goes to the line for 2. Sorry, Rona.
No, I was glad to see that Samantha actually attacked it. I had a horrible feeling that she might just try and sit with that sort of 3-point shot, but if you're going to attack them, that's what Essex are doing to you. You've got to go out there. You can see that the refs' whistles are working. So, get them going.
And Roscoe, who's normally such a massive impact on offence. I was waiting to see what was happening in that one. It's only on 3 points, but great rebound by Bintu. Puyol.
Really nice. Staying active, and every extra shot you get is one less for them.
Puyol drives inside, misses her own layup. She's been making them.
That was probably the easiest one that she had because she
Absolutely.
probably lost her defender.
Tudor with the ball, looking to take the 3 shot, but stopped by some great defence.
Yeah, that
Puyol is on 4 fouls, so she won't be able to play her as hard. Switches on with Bintu. The help comes, but it's a bit late, and a brilliant layup there from Tudor.
Yeah, you can see Tudor identified that there'd been the switch, and she's like, okay, with low, I'm going to take her to the hoop. And although the help did come across, they're at least being a bit smarter, not sticking their hands in.
Just over 4 minutes to go. It's a 3-point lead for the Gladiator. Ball in Hannah Robb's hand. Back to Ndai, he's given space, she shoots the 3 of the clock ticking down, and she makes it.
Should have seen that play before.
I think that's the third one we've seen, isn't it? So
yeah. And that's what's going to happen if you're going to dip under the screens, you're allowing that 3 shot.
That's 18 points personal for Geneva Ndai. They've got the switch. Claire Paxton up against the smaller Hannah Robb. Megan Haynes drives baseline, stops, probably could have taken the layup out to Rennie Bush. Misses it. Ndai. Bush not being the 3-point threat she usually is, as the dish comes from Ndai to Roscoe. Players diving on the floor.
Out of court.
She slides out of court. I think Puyol was waiting for the call to go the other way.
Yeah. Nah, she definitely had slid out of court, which is unfortunate, you know, because she hustled really well.
Yeah.
That's sometimes the problem when the defender's coming to you. I can see why Ndai's made that pass, but you're making it to the taller player who's on the run, and you're sort of, there's not enough court. That's when the only time you probably want an extra 2 feet before you get the basket. I mean, Sammy Roscoe, she's got a pair of jets on her when she wants to start running, as Ndai. She probably should have gone with it when she was that deep. But that's why I'm commentating and not playing.
As the floor gets mopped, Hannah Robb with the baseline play, 14 seconds on the shot clock, 3 minutes 33 left of the game. It's a 6-point ball game. Hannah Robb fakes the shot, steps back. It looks like it's going to come up short.
Yeah, it was almost like she'd used all the momentum and the bounce that then when she went to shoot it, it had gone. That's physics-like, isn't it? Never did physics, so.
Had delay game warning called from Ian McDonald there. I'm guessing it was because Ndai was too close to the baseline, but
No, it should be because she's got this space behind the line to step back, so I thought you could play right up on the line. Again, level 1 referee.
Rennie Bush picks the ball up, captured with a bit of space, drives past. Sam Roscoe comes for help straight up.
Really nice help by her, and she kept her hands true.
Puyol looking up against Freeman. Roscoe space for 3. Oh, and Samantha Roscoe makes the 3 ball. Really struggled for her shooting tonight. Made a layup early on. 1 from 2 from 3-throw line. Now contributing for her usual 3 points.
Yeah, and like I said, you can't score every shot, you can't miss every shot, and she's just proven that. And I mean, yeah, that takes confidence because it was against the run of play, but you could argue that would you be better to use the 24 and get a different shot, but you know, she's gone out there, she's nailed it, it's forced the timeout.
Gladiators into this timeout as we dance along to the in-house music is Gladiators 64, Essex Rebels 55. Timeout I think it was called by the Rebels. And since the last timeout, Coach Cookson, the first time he came out of that last one, there was a turnover. He'll be looking for them to step up again. He's trying to run his offense through Tudor, which makes sense. She's leading them in scoring. But they're probably looking for someone like Claire Paxton, who's been on 10 points for a long time, also to contribute some more.
Yeah, we can see Tudor, you know, she's lit up. The last shot was, you know, it's not her usual standard, but also when Rebels were doing well, they actually had 4, maybe 5 players on the scoreboard, and that's when, you know, they were pushing Gladiators and they were having the lead. So one player getting hot doesn't necessarily make it even better, because sometimes then you go away from what's working, and if they're going to try and force it to her, that's when they're going to get some problems, because it's really easy to shut down one player, but with Rebels, you know, they had several players.
And we head into this final 3 minutes. Ortega's Gladiators up by 9, as we just said. What will the message be from the camp?
To keep doing what they're doing. Like, stick with what they're doing. Remember we talked about making the passes. They've probably had more assists now in this last sort of quarter than they have in the quarter combined. I can't get my laptop to go.
We're up to 9, so we've added 4. Rennie Bush up against Hannah Robb. Robb delays her. Blocked by Bintu. And Ndai looks to push the floor. She's got Samantha Roscoe for support. Gives the pass. And that is just brilliant Gladiator basketball. And that is our 10th assist.
Here we go. I can do 9+1.
Good, I'm glad. Tudor with the ball. Up against the ever impressive defense from Hannah Robb. Into the corner from Megan Haynes. Ball's up. Shot not dropped. Puyol gathers the rebound and she checks back to slow it down. Gladiators up 11.
Yeah, you think this is where Gladiators really want to try and look to use the clock, because it's now Essex that have got to look to push the tempo again.
Samantha Roscoe takes another 3. Overcooks that one slightly. And good hustle by Freeman there as she runs out of court to gather the ball, gets it back to Bush. Crossover there, loses the defender. Megan Haynes into Reese, up against 3. Tough layup. Brilliant move by the Rebels. Big. Less than 2 minutes to go, and Dye with the ball into Sam Roscoe's hands. Back to Ariana Puyol. Roscoe back to Puyol. Using the clock. Pushes inside. Oh! Swing of the elbows. God, that's a massive accident. Reese didn't know she was there, and Puyol takes it at the cheek.
Usually I'm the first one to like up out of my seat, but no, you can just see that's one of those things that's happened. She's come across.
Courtney's mopped again. Puyol probably won't be happy that that's the reaction to her missed layup, that she gets a unfortunate elbow in the face.
Yeah, and I think that's what's important, is even if you miss, you keep playing. I think sometimes you see maybe at other age groups or lesser leagues that when someone misses, they're so busy like hoping for themselves, they're not getting back in defence. But that's exactly what you have to do, is you turn around and it's defence now. And she managed to get the ball back.
The table had been trying to signal and hoot for a while. They're trying to signal a timeout. A timeout was called by Coach Ortega before Chris Dodds passed the ball out. Yep, timeout on the floor to the Gladiators as the referee could. Pardon?
Should get your wee whistle. Like, excuse me, there's a timeout there.
I was able to distinguish between the different tones from the fans' hooters and the game hooters.
I think that's sometimes a problem, isn't it? That because the fans are so loud and noisy and they can replicate the air horn noise, that it's maybe not quite heard.
So another timeout called. The Gladiators looking to close this one out, and maybe not the most fluent of performances from the Gladiators so far, but what will Coach Ortega look to take out this last kind of 90 seconds?
He'll be looking to get a score, I'm sure, out of this timeout. It's their ball on the baseline, and then stop them from getting any more points. Rebels, 9-point game. That's more than winnable with 90 seconds left. If anyone doesn't watch much basketball, this is one of the first times tuning in. It's it's never over till it's over. So Essex really good to go out and put out a good, solid defensive stop. If they do, and then they come down, maybe score a 3 or get an and 1, game's wide open.
And I'm just curious to see what 5 enter the floor here for the Gladiators. Will we see Puyol back on from that kind of knock in the face?
I think she's the sort of player that will want to be back on. She's not going to look to come off.
Erin McCarrican, Samantha Roscoe, and Dai, Hannah Robb, and it is Puyol on the floor for the Gladiators. It's Freeman, Tudor, Haynes, Claire Paxton, and I think Renee Bush is the 5th player for the Rebels. No call there. Samantha Roscoe goes to the basket looking for the layup and the foul. Gladiators tried to double team, ball in Bush's hands. Paxton's got the smaller die on her, but Freeman drives in. Impressive left-handed layup. Freeman's been a really big influence off the Rebels bench.
Yep, and that's exactly what Essex will have wanted. They got a defensive stop, and then they went down the other end and scored.
Double team there. We've got a flop warning on the floor. Hannah Robb travels. Flop warning, I think, on the Rebels there, but a poor turnover. Hannah Robb had a lot of space there. That indecisiveness in these crucial times can make a big difference.
It can, and I think she always plays very well. She's always a massive impact when she starts the game or is coming off the bench. She'll be annoyed with herself on that. Should she maybe have shot the 3? Yes, but tough call.
7-point lead for the Gladiators. Exactly a minute to go on the clock. Claire Paxton with the ball, looking for Freeman. Renee Bush, top of the arc, looking to run the offense. Freeman looking for the ball. She drives, spins left, and one. Tough foul on Puyol, who's remained down.
That looked like a sore one on the back, like it's been a twist as she's fallen.
Yeah, looks very uncomfortable. The physio's now on the court.
Again, I think that's a tough call, given her that is a blocking foul.
And that would be Ariana. Yeah, she looks in some discomfort there on the floor. Hopefully she's able to make a quick recovery. And she hopefully takes her time. She's been helped to her feet by the physio and Erin McCarrican. She's fouled out the game anyway. Maybe a combination of pain of fouling out and being annoyed with her performance.
Yeah. I think it's definitely knocked the wind out for sins.
But yeah, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists personal for Ariana Puyol.
I think we're in for an interesting 45 seconds.
Definitely going to be 5-point game. Freeman at the line shooting 1. And misses.
Nice
Binto the
by
rebound. Tough passes here. And a foul by Bush. Rebels now on to 4-team fouls as we look to extend this game. And Dye with the risky pass. They are probably cornered Hannah Robb into it. If you were Essex, how would you play this?
Like they're about to, full court press, go for everything. They'll probably foul them, put them on the line, make them score their free throws because they've not been great.
Too early to foul, but it looks like that's what they're going for. And eventually the referee calls a foul on Haynes.
Yeah, you could see it was a little bit of tit for tat there.
And as we said, that's now the Rebels into team fouls.
You feel like fouls have been a massive part of the game today. Gladiators racking them up early. We've seen players playing with foul trouble, players fouling out.
And Dye makes the first. She's up to 19 points. The cushion of the gap is now 6 points. Misses the second rebound, gathered by the Rebels, pushed down the floor by Claire Paxton. She's going coast to coast. Ball is dislodged, and Dye to Binto. Holds the ball. Foul called on Freeman, fouling Binto as she tries to offload the ball into Samantha Roscoe's hands. And again, the Gladiators return to the free throw line, shooting 2.
I think, I get why Chris Dodds had called that foul. You want to keep a tight hold on the game at the end. I do think it's unfortunate on Freeman. I don't think it was necessarily the foul, but
Binto makes the first.
This is when free throws matter. Nobody cares if you scored 6 from 6 in the first quarter. It's now in these last seconds.
Yeah, whereas actually we touched on earlier, saying the Gladiators missed a lot of their free throws to start. I think they were under 50% for a long while in the game, and they're now, I think, 10 from 16. Freeman drops off her foot. Binto hustles, but the ball's going to end up in Essex hands. Shot clock still ticking down. And it's an 8-second call. Brilliant defense from the Gladiators.
That's your 5-man, hustling, getting on the floor. And even like that, even though she didn't come up with the ball, she forced the ball then further into the backcourt. Claire Paxton going for a Tom Brady moment.
Essex trying to say it came off Binto's foot. Look from here, that came off Freeman's own foot. Through the pressure. 8 seconds regardless, yeah. And Hannah Robb will inbound the ball. We've got 15.3 in the game clock, 14-second shot clock. As the Gladiators look to close out on what now should be a win.
And it looks like Essex are just going to play this game out.
Yeah, looks like it. And Dye, she's going to take the 3 shot. It's off. Rebound by Erin. 2 seconds on the clock. Catches it. And Binto. Does that count as a shot?
Yeah, left her hand, right?
And that does it. Gladiators win 69 points to 61 in what was a very close game for the full 40. Rona, a brilliant win from the Gladiators, remaining undefeated for the season. A tough win. We saw Miguel Ortega having to work the players a lot harder, but they'll be delighted with this win.
They will be delighted with winning. Like we said, there's lots of things going on with the travel and the European games. All credit to Essex. So Essex came here to play. It's a long trip up the road for them. Regardless of how they travelled, they've shown a really good standing for themselves. And I think they're going to be pushing,
And from an Essex point of view, they had the lead for a large part of the game, came out hot, led the third quarter. But you have to say Kat Tudor's second half was impressive for them.
She was, and they've still got players to bring back in, and players that are going to really have an impact on their team as long as they gel well. Talked about Darcy Rees a lot. Saw Renee Bush, although she wasn't necessarily lighting up the scoreboard, she was doing a really, really good job, of just controlling the game and playing well. Gladiators, they've overcome adversity, so they can learn from that, and that's probably a very good thing that they're doing it now. and they're doing it early in the season.
So the Gladiators get the 8-point victory, and it was Ndiaye with the 19 points. A lot of them again, like Tudor in the second half. Ndiaye was brilliant in that tough moment of the game where the game was probably going away from the Gladiators.
Yeah, I just think every time she came off the bench and every time she was on the floor, Gladiators did well, and that's going to be really impactful for them. Again though, Ortega played around with things, and it's paid off.
As we go to courtside with Annie, who has Donnie for some post-game analysis. So before we have Annie courtside, the Gladiators have the Moor midweek in Europe. They'll be looking to take this confidence into that.
They will, and they will also have maybe seen a different side to themselves as a team and how they came together. We obviously can't hear what's been said on the bench and in the changing rooms, but they'll have learned from this, they'll grow from it, they'll have things to look at, in practice before they go on.
So I think we now can go to Annie, and who has Donnie courtside.
Donnie, it wasn't always pretty, but what can you attribute the win to today?
I think we managed to find a bit of focus in the second half. Defensively, I spoke to you at half-time, we weren't happy with where we were in the first half. It's still, second half wasn't exactly where we'd like it to be, but we upped it a good level. We held them to, I think, 26 points in the second half. And offensively just managed to keep things ticking over, particularly in the fourth quarter. When we got the lead, we kept.
There's a lot of fouls against the Gladiators. Do you think that it's difficult to adjust to the level of physicality after just playing in the Euro Cup?
Yeah, I mean, the players are professional. We've got to be able to adjust to the way the game's being played. And, we've got to be smarter. The vast majority of the fouls really came from our mistakes, being out of position, being late, not communicating. So we can't really attribute it to any difference between the league and Europe. We've just got to be better.
Fair enough. And what do the next few days look like in camp?
Yeah, so the girls have got a day off tomorrow. We're back in practice on Tuesday. Wednesday we have a shoot around, then we get on a plane and go to Belgium to play again Thursday night.
Tough week. All right, thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate your time. I'll now pass it back to Grant and Rhoda.
Yeah, so thanks again for joining us in the broadcast as the Gladiators run out 69 to 61 point victors. The next game for the Gladiators, the men's team are at home to the Bristol Flyers on Thursday the 30th of November. That's a 7:45 tip, and we've got to wait until Sunday the 17th of December for the women who take on the Cardiff Met Archers here at 3. Thank you very much for joining from Rona and myself, Grant. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you next time on the Caledonia Gladiators and the Women's British Basketball League broadcast.